Hello, everybody. I'll just wait a couple more minutes as people slowly trickle in. Excited to kind of get this started together. So let's get this started. I'm excited to kind of be walk everyone through a high level overview of mission control together today. I brought along Cosmo, who is our mascot. You'll be seeing some animations of him throughout our software, so he'll be definitely helping us out along the way. Before we kick things off, I just want to maybe share a little bit of information about ourselves, what we'll be going through today. Just to kind of set up a little preface here together. Um, and now that everyone can ideally see my screen, yeah, now that everyone can ideally see my screen, looking forward to kind of giving that high level overview of our mission control today. The idea is not to go into the grains, but really kind of give you that really understanding of what we do, who we are, the possibilities, and kind of let's say like hopefully spark some ideas that we can maybe follow up on together and see what interests you and see how we could explore those ideas together. Um, so in terms of today's agenda, I'll start off with some quick introductions on myself. My name is Julian. I am relatively new to the Mission Control team, although I have been in the Salesforce ecosystem for just around 3 years now. Um, so my background is specifically within PSA solutions, native to Salesforce. So I'm really excited to be working with the Mission Control team. And also kind of let's say in terms of what I'll also be discussing today is why mission control, why using a native PSA project management tool layered above your instance on Salesforce. And then maybe jumping into some of the features that we said we'd be discussing, which would be launching a project from an opportunity, assigning a resource and the many ways to do it, logging time, completing an action, and generating an invoice. Something I'll also maybe be discussing is some collaboration tools, so adding a little Easter egg on top of all of this. So in terms of why mission control, the main idea is we are native to Salesforce. So if you use Salesforce, if you understand the power of using a modular tool that's able to match your business processes, and you're able to create workflows to automate processes and also make the lives of your employees or teammates that much easier. The same reason why you'd use us, as we are native to Salesforce. We're a series of custom objects that live in your environment. So basically, every record, every every piece of data I'll be showing today, think of it as you'll be able to treat it as any other object within Salesforce. So you would be able to create those workflows, report on them, create dashboards, really have customized and personalized experience for individuals, team members, and your whole firm. Um, as I mentioned, I have worked within the space, and a lot of solutions claim to be work out of the box, but Mission Control truly does work out of the box. The idea is even what I'll be showing you today, I'll be showing you our full solution. So the idea is we're not trying to sell you other objects or upsell you on different features. We give you everything, and then it's up to you to really tone it down and identify what makes sense for, let's say, MVP, what makes sense for phase one. If you see the value in using our full solution, go ahead. But realistically, 99% of our clients all scale it down to what's important for you to kick off. And then basically over time, you could just essentially expand those objects and use the totality of our tool. We're Salesforce native, so there's no coding required. Essentially, the same way you could interact with native Salesforce objects is how you would interact with ours. In terms of learning portal certifications, we have deep support articles, knowledge base, user guides online. I definitely will. I'll attach our support link to this video so everyone will have access to it. But in terms of any sort of process idea, anything you can imagine within the world of resource management, project management, or time and execution, can be found directly on our support page and with videos and amazing content because our success team and our professional service team are all stars, and they've been working on this for a very long time. And I've never really seen something this elaborate before. In terms of which speaks to our global support. In terms of our NPS score and G2 ratings, we are well ahead of our worthy competitors, where in terms of the average go live time would be roughly within the first month, but we shoot for 45 to 90 days. So we do have robust and personalized and detailed onboarding packages where we would always go into detail with you. So make sure nothing is no one moves forward without understanding what are the next steps. So in terms of those next steps we see together, so this is typically what a general sales cycle or learning process with us would look like, where number one, understand your business, really kind of see if there is a fit. If we do see if there's a fit and it does make sense to use a solution like ours, this is when we go into the product evaluation mode, really kind of doing some deeper discoveries, some workshops, personalized demonstrations, and we're always open to sharing a 14-day free trial with yourself. So you could either put it into sandbox or live into production. So let's say when you are done those 14 days, you're already 14 days ahead of the game. So we're always open to kind of working in a process that really matches your needs. In terms of onboarding, as I mentioned, we have a few different packages, managed services. We sell buckets of hours, really kind of making sure that you have the support you need, either if it's full hand holding, just a little bit of guidance, or if you just want to follow all of our online cadences. And ongoing support, we have our webinars, monthly campfires. You can always reach out to our email, support@aprika.com, and you'll get a response within a couple of hours at most. So in terms of our history, Mission Control has been around for some time. Our CEO is also the founder, which is pretty unique within the PSA space on Salesforce because our full solution, well, like necessity breeds innovation. So our full solution has been built by our team and really built as one cohesive unit. We have never acquired parts of our business. We've built our tool from the ground up. So in terms of having that one cohesive tool with intention behind every process, every object, everything you'll see today has been kind of built by our team. And you see over time, we're always building it to kind of match the needs of the market and also needs of our users as well, because we really kind of do keep a close ear with our users. So in terms of what I'll be showing you in terms of what we have today, this is our full solution, does go pretty deep. I think it would not be fruitful for me to kind of go into every detail today together, but that's why I'm always be around after the call. So what we'll really be touching are, let's say, the four main notions on top, which would be resource management, project management, collaboration, and some of the productivity tools. If there's anything that really jumps out at people here, feel free to reach out within our question at the bottom. If I don't catch it during the call, I'll definitely either respond to it towards the end of our call, but I'll also be able to maybe follow up with individuals as well. So in terms of industries we work with, professional service. So within the world of Salesforce, our forte is really kind of professional services and high tech, but that lends itself to a lot of different industries where we do have a lot of leaders using our tools and solutions. So oftentimes when we have professional service firms, construction firms, financial firms, let's say software, health sciences, um, even non-for-profits, we have, let's say, the recipes that we've seen be successful for different firms, let's say at 10 users to 1,000 users and beyond. So we're really ready to kind of help you grow and kind of break through those ceilings on your side. So there's even a few other names that I wish we could include on this chart, but NDAs won't allow us. But there are some awesome names that I would love to share for them more into. With that being said, let's jump into it. Um, And before I jump into it, let me open up my actual demo org because that might help. Here we go. So if I will share my screen again. So now that everyone can see our screen, this is mission control. The idea here is this is mission control. The idea is it looks familiar because mission control is built into Salesforce. There's no separation between mission control and your Salesforce instance, as we are a series of custom objects that live within your environment. So in terms of the question, where does the data sit? Your environment. How do we integrate into mission control? We leverage the Salesforce API. So just as you kind of, let's say, just the freedom and the power you have within by using Salesforce, everything is matched natively within mission control. So as I mentioned, this is our full solution. So you do see a slew of objects that might be helpful to you. They might be interesting. You might want to dig further into, or you might think it's a little bit of noise. So the idea is in your solution, if you were to be using this tool, we would really scale it back for either the needs of individuals, teams, and let's say as a company as a whole to make sure everyone is really focused on the work they need to do. And by using a tool like this, you are building productivity and kind of, let's say, helping you kind of, let's say, hit those sought after capacity rates. So with that being said, what I'll be doing today is the first thing, as I mentioned, would be launching a project from an opportunity, and then jumping into the project from there. So with that being said, let me create a new opportunity just to start fresh here. No, not holiday. So let's just call this webinar August. Close date, let's put the close date today, stage, prospecting. We'll push it down a little bit further and create a new opportunity. So the idea right now is that this is a standard Salesforce opportunity. You are definitely familiar with the opportunity statuses, a lot of the information on the page as this is a standard object. But what you'll see, let's say, along with some of the standard like related objects within opportunities, such as products, would be projects. So this is where that intersection between and um, professional service and opportunity kind of intersect, where we're able to have the projects linked with the opportunity. So your firm is able to start building forecasts and start building out simple projects based on templates earlier on into your sales cycle. Every firm does this differently. Every firm is unique. And the reason why, let's say, this part isn't hard coded because we want to make sure we match your processes properly. Some firms would only like to have, let's say, when an opportunity is at, let's say, 80% close rate, when you hit that proposal quote, this is when by hitting this stage, you might want to have your project spawned or only simply at close one. This is strictly up to you. We are able to even associate project templates to products. So imagine your sales team would simply have to add products to an opportunity, and these products would have individual templates associated to them. So there's multiple ways about this. You could use multiple products to build a modular project, or you could have products spawn individual products themselves. So this is really based on your processes. And let's say our professional service team would definitely help guide you in terms of helping match the best processes, best practices for your team. Just to even kind of, let's say, take a step back. There's this concept of managing automation and accountability. It's a beautiful thing to automate as much as you want, but there's also that line of accountability where this is something working with our professional service team who's done this thousands of times over. They are keen and understanding of kind of say balancing that act and finding the right fit for you. So in terms of, let's say, showing you how like, I would kind of, let's say, go about this in a much more simpler way. I'm going to go to my template, my project. I'm going to find the template I want to associate to this opportunity. So I like my tier 2 implementation modules for mission control, put our start date today, generation method. There's multiple ways to do this. You can associate it to products, as I mentioned. Um, I could just have a base template. What I'll be doing today is just linking it to an opportunity just for the ease of use, but I'm happy to kind of jump into a further conversation with anyone if you want to see different processes here. So let's generate the project at the opportunity level. So right now I have that project linked to my closed one. So let's say I want to close win this project. I'll move the stage to close one, click close one, and right now, what you'll see is my project has been generated. This project is based on a template. The template it could be a highly granular project that your team would only use and never deviate from, which you could also set up permissions never to be able to change, or it could act as a simple skeleton where basically you have your high level milestones or phases, and then you're able to really kind of say tailor each project over time, giving you that initial structure to build up your project on and really save hours and possibly days from your team from always building up these projects manually and also maybe using multiple systems. So at this point, I think it might make sense to jump into the project, and we could see what a project looks like, a lot of the related records, a lot of ways to interact with the project, and then also we'll naturally to the next step is how do we staff this project? So you could see at this stage right now, there is a lot of information on this page. Just like I mentioned earlier, everything could be scaled back. If you only want to see a Gantt chart and an overview, that could be set up. And basically just a click of the button. There's no hard coding here. This is essentially a no-code platform for you to tailor and really build out your dream solution. So at this point, what I would do is jump into the overview section and give you a brief understanding of our project hierarchy or even the hierarchy we have within Mission Control, and kind of what we'll be playing around with. So in terms of the hierarchy we use in Mission Control, there is portfolios. Under portfolios, we have programs. Under programs, we have projects. Under projects, we have phases. Under phases, we will find milestones. Then under milestones, we have actions. And under actions, we have checklist items. Everything here you can log time to. Everything here can be associated to individuals. You could have both billable and non-billable anything. So think about using our solution not only for, let's say, external customer projects, but also internal processes, onboarding employees, um, doing, let's say, control matrices, making sure you're able to kind of standardize processes within your business from the weekly meetings to, let's say, even onboardings and offboardings, as I mentioned earlier. So the idea is really use this tool as a lifeline for your business, and life is a project. So have fun playing with it. So the idea here is I'd like to maybe show you some other ways to interact with this project. So right now we can see we have placeholder resources assigned to the project. Um, these placeholder resources help me forecast and staff more effectively in the future. And the idea is these placeholder resources will be switched to named users shortly. There's multiple ways to do that, but just wait a second before we jump into it. I know there's some fun different views people like to enjoy, such as a Gantt chart. The Gantt chart, everything I will show you does interact natively and synchronize with each other. So if I make any actions on the Gantt chart, if I make any actions on the Kanban, everything will work together. And basically, your team could be using Kanban and Gantt chart at the same time. So right now, we can see that we have phases, we have milestones, and then we have actions under those milestones. Within the Gantt chart, we can see I've also set up some dependencies. So if, let's say, the internal testing gets pushed out, everything else will get pushed out accordingly with it, making sure there are those dependencies that keep your project true to what you intended. Now the question is, after you let's say you have to make a change. It could be based on a change request. You could just do it natively, really based on your processes. But if you're really kind of interested in that baseline, we will always have an understanding of what that original baseline was. So you could maintain a variance between where you're at and where you were and where you were supposed to be. So with that being said, looking to the project, um, this does exist on a more global level, but I'll jump into that in a bit. We also have the whiteboard, which if your team is more agile, you have the whiteboard, which also has different views. So, right, as I showed you earlier, I'm looking at the action owner, I'm looking at the actions associated to the action owners. I also could look at it on a milestone level. Basically, what are the milestones, who's been assigned to these milestones, and also I could look at statuses. So even if I'm running with my sprints and my user stories, this might make sense to be able to move things forward in a linear manner. Um, so right now, as we're in this view, I just want to maybe take a step back and show you that we do have these views both on a global level. So right now, I'm showing you the Gantt chart and a Kanban at the project level, but I also have those globally. So being able and by using filters, you're able to slice and dice your data and really get a better understanding of um, who's working on what and through these global views. So let's say I just want to open up these two projects. Maybe not that project. Let me go look at these. Let's say Josh and Safari Hut. I can see that these two projects are aligned, and I can even look into their actions. Something that's really awesome about mission control and not common within the space is building inter-project dependencies. So if there are, let's say within a program or within a portfolio, there's a dependency between two projects. Basically, doesn't make sense to start one project before you finish, or there are some dependent actions. You are able to build out those dependencies between projects, where this is pretty uncommon within our space, and happy to have that feature. So even let's say, as I'm showing you this, the Gantt chart on a global level, we also have the scheduler on a, not the scheduler, the whiteboard on a global level, where we are able to, let's say, have a global view of who's working on what throughout the company, use different filters, and really kind of make sure you're using this tool right for you. So these are things again. Be happy to kind of say have a deeper dive here with anybody on the call with alongside Victor or anyone from our professional service team because everyone has a different way to approach using Kanbans or Gantt charts, and we want to really build out that personal process for you to make sure you're getting the most out of your hours, and getting the most out of your day, and getting the most out of your team. So if I were to jump back to that project that I shared earlier, um, let's just go into the what's called webinar. So right now we're at the project level. We've identified everything's happy, everything's signed off. Um, and or maybe it's not signed off yet. Maybe we have to sign off right now. So something we were able to do as well is also have billable milestones associated to projects. So let's say if I jump into this milestone and I want to assign it as complete because we got the signature. All I have to do is let's say have a an amount associated to the milestone, and then if we build out the milestone correctly, what will happen is that going back to the project, you can see that the $5,000 that comes with that billable milestone has been completed, and you'll be able to find a billing event within our billing events. Towards the end of the call, I'll be able to maybe jump back here, and we'll be able to send out an invoice altogether. So now jumping back into the project, now that we have our signature, it might be time to start staffing the project. There are multiple ways within our solution to staff projects. What I'll be showing you today is kind of leveraging our resource assignment wizard and our auto assignment wizard. So let's say right now I know this custom permission job is I need a consultant to take over that role or take over those hours. What I could do is click on this resource assignment wizard, and it will spawn a window where I am able to identify, let's say if there are certain skill sets required for this action, if there are certain certifications, language requirements, any geographic location, I'm able to kind of filter out my team, search the team, and then put the most appropriate person based on their availabilities. So if I'm looking at, let's say, on my team over here, I think I noticed Colin Johnson, who's actually our CEO. He's able to do quite a bit in the firm, so I think he might be able to take over this action. So I could directly drag and drop, place him over here, and he has taken over those hours. So now those hours are part of his schedule. And I could also add contributors here. So Chris Wolcott, who is also one of the founders, I think he'd be a great fit for as a contributor here. Oh, bye-bye. As a contributor here. So what I could do is grab him, add him as a technical developer, and what I'll do is, let's say I want to just give him 1 hour, and I can see the hours that have been split between these two resources. So let's say if you're working on a little bit more granular level, it's really easy for you to set up these views and individually add your resources to placeholder resources while understanding their availabilities, and kind of, let's say, filtering out your resources um, by context. So the context is certifications or anything you could even assign to a resource. So let's say, let me add those resources. So this is a fun way. This is an easy way to do it. Something also that I know a lot of our firms, let's say, who have been using our tool, really kind of get the understanding of building out weighting the characteristics between a role and a resource. We also have our auto assignment wizard. So what you'll see here is our trusty friend Cosmo. He'll be popping up and he'll be helping us pick and choose the right assignments for our team. So let's say if I jump on the auto assign, where's that action? Oh, so let's say if I go into let's just choose another project here because I think I didn't set this up properly. So let's say if I go into the auto assignment wizard, what we're able to do, uh, recommend. What we're typically able to do is add, no, won't be able to show that today. What we're typically able to do is add a series of um, a series of weighted characteristics to our resources, and basically through a series of percentages allow you to mass assign a full project at once, and basically uh, pick and choose based on your weighting who is a good fit. Now, you could assign, let's say, a full project at once or part of the project, and then maybe individually assign the others based on percentages we've identified. So let's say once a project has been staffed, there are a few different ways for us to even kind of look at the staffing of the project. So another way we could even staff a project is directly through the scheduler. So I know this is the scheduler is a big hit with a lot of our clients, as it gives you a bird's eye view, but also the flexibility and the agility to kind of, say, move your tasks or actions around appropriately within your team. So let's say I can see here within the placeholder consultants, um, I identified that I need to staff these hours. So what might make sense is for me to look into, let's say, developers. So I've identified that would be actually, no. So this would be just me moving around within the platform, within the project, within the individual. So I think we have some project managers, which we call in. I've identified Colin might be a good fit for this. So what I might want to do is move this up to Colin, and then have him take those hours. So we're able to move around the actions within the scheduler, and really kind of think of them as buckets of actions and being able to drop them within the appropriate resources. Um, like I'm showing you this at the project level, this also exists globally as well. So you're able to kind of have that bird's eye view of who's working on what, when, and you're also able to let's say, move around actions or projects based on allocation. So right now, let's say if I'm looking at my team of consultants, I can understand that Alana is well overbooked. I'm worried about her burning out because I can see that she's at 160% of her utilization. So it might make sense for me to start, let's say, identifying that I need to start pushing around her big tasks to different resources so that basically we could bring down her utilization, give her some breathing room for the next couple weeks, and then basically have make sure she's happy and content with everything she's doing here. So with that being said, we could take a step back and jump back into our project and show you how we might want to log some time. So once everyone who has been assigned to these tasks, there are multiple ways to go about logging time. So if you go back into our project view over here, you can log time directly as I'll do within the overview. You could do it directly within the Gantt chart. You could do it directly within the Kanban, making it as easy as possible for your team to and as specific as possible. Some people like using whiteboards. Some people like using Gantt charts, and we'll give your team the ability to kind of make sure they're using the tools that they like using. So by jumping into, let's say, a milestone, what I could look at is, let's say I want to log time to custom fields. By clicking on the hour over here, the hour clock over here, it opens up my logging time function where I'm able to specifically log time to this action, which we can see over here. We could be able to force notes. So basically, every time you log time, you have to pair a series of notes. And as I mentioned earlier in the call, every data point, every record we'll be showing today can be reported on. So the idea is really building out those reports specific to your needs. And God forbid there's ever any issues with, let's say, a resource or something happened within a certain milestone or phase of a project, you're able to pull out just all those reports on the notes and get a little bit more of a granular understanding before even meeting with your team or a customer. So I'd be able to, let's say, log time directly here by logging time, or we also have the ability to start using a time tracking tool. So let's say by clicking the start time tracking, what happens is if I go back into my customization over here, you can see that it is red, meaning there is the clock, meaning that we're on the clock. So if I know if I receive a case, if I know I'm gonna start working on something, I could just log my time, start my tracker. I could begin to jump into any issues, and work on whatever I need to work on. And then once I am done, I could jump back in, stop my tracking, and then that time will be directly pushed to my timesheet. We also have global action buttons at the bottom where I'm able to, let's say, prop this up, identify the project or action milestone, whatever I need to log time to, and log time directly through the global action button. And as much as we have these amazing and awesome logging time tools, realistically, we often see people just strictly using timesheets. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We understand a lot of people like using timesheets, so we'll keep the timesheet within the product. So having this available for your team is you could do this daily, weekly, monthly. Obviously, we suggest more daily input. Um, so at this point, once you've saved and submitted your time, we do have approval processes because we leverage the native Salesforce approval processes. So if you need a first and second, two people, one person, whatever it is, we're able to match that. So basically, you could push this directly to an invoice or have this live directly for internal records. So with that being said, I will go back to my project. I know something I mentioned earlier was the billing event that we created by the signature. What I could do is jump into the billing event, see all my information over here, and then we are able to either push this information directly to your general ledger, or we're also able to generate invoices directly from Mission Control. By clicking on the view PDF, what's going to happen, I'll be generating a PDF. Everything here could be highly customized and tailored to your needs. So basically, this is super simple. You can have as much information, visuals as you need. But this would be that signature completion that I showed you earlier, ready to be pushed out by your accounting team to a client. So you're able to kickstart that process and do what we're all here for, make money. Um, so with that being said, let's say I did mention I wanted to show you one more thing. Um, oh, we do have a question. Um, our project relies heavily on a large pool of freelancers, external resources, and Mission Control manage this database, track their availability when contacted, and schedule them effectively for various projects. So yes, we can. Basically, um, what we are able to do is, let's say, in terms of tracking their availabilities, let's say if they do offer you X period of week, we are able to have, let's say, your resource act. Your resources availability would be based on every resource has their own schedule or availability. So let's say you're only working Mondays for 4 hours, and you want 100% utilization. Basically, you're looking to fill those 4 hours every Monday. If you're working 4 hours every day of the week, that's 20 hours a week. And if you're looking to do 20% utilization, we will be able to kind of do that individually at the resource level, but we could also do that by teams as well. So yes, we are definitely able to measure the schedule of external resources as individuals, as each one will have their own schedule, availabilities, and capacity as well. I hope that answers your question, Lawrence. If anything, reach out to me after. I'm happy to kind of explore this further. Um, so with what I showed you further, what I showed you today, everything I've shown you today can be expressed within a customer portal. So what the customer portal is called is Experience Cloud. Experience Cloud is a solution within Salesforce where you are able to express any objects of your own within Salesforce third-party website. So let's say if it's important for me, so I think what we did today was we looked at webinar. So let's say you could highly restrict this third-party website to be customer specific, project specific, however you do want to set it up. And you could have, let's say, a Gantt chart readily available for your customer to make sure that they are aligned and see where you're at within, let's say, the project. Let's say if you did deviate from baseline, if that's important for you, and kind of let's say really build out this third party tool for people who are curious to learn a little bit more about um, how the project is going. So in terms of let's say customer satisfaction, we've identified keeping a close feedback loop with your customer is a great way to kind of make sure expectations are met and upheld. And if there are any issues, they're addressed immediately and effectively, which is why above and beyond, let's say using this Experience Cloud portal, which you could highly customize and really build out specifically for your team with dashboards and charts and all the information, even homework as well. We also at the project level, we have custom status reports, which basically by clicking the status report, these pages can be highly tailored specifically to customers with your branding as well. And what you'll be able to do is have this as collateral that's generated on whatever level of cadence is important for you, and have this readily available for you to share with your customers, prospects, or whoever you are trying to communicate with. By having this is a solid tool to kind of say shorten that feedback loop, maintain a pulse on the relationship, and make sure all parties' expectations are met in a positive manner. Um, with that being said, I guess really to kind of say the goal of using, um, how do you read that Gantt chart? What does it mean? In terms of reading a Gantt chart, I think earlier before I was maybe showing you the Gantt chart over here. Um, Gantt charts are essentially timelines based on your projects, showing interdependencies in a waterfall format. You could build out your Gantt chart specifically to your needs, where these are, let's say the blues are actions, blues are milestones, greens are actions, and the red lines are interdependencies between each other. So happy to expand on this further if needed. So with that being said, I think kind of the reason we're using a solution like this is for the data and reporting and dashboards, which is why we do suggest building out, let's say, custom reporting, custom dashboards for individuals on your team. So you do have a full understanding of who's working on what, or as an individual, what's assigned to you, and how do you maintain let's say, a steady schedule, hitting your deliverables, and making sure you hitting those targeted KPIs um, within your bank of actions. So with that being said, this is I hope I kind of gave a clear and global understanding of mission control without going too far into the weeds. I think as I mentioned, I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for some time now, and the level of detail that comes along with mission control and the ability for the tool to be used as natively out of the box as possible, giving you everything you need with no requirements on purchasing any other objects is impressive, and I'm more than happy to kind of to help you better understand if this is the right solution for you. So with that being said, it was a pleasure speaking with you all. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email will be associated as well. So looking forward to hearing any thoughts, questions, ideas, and this is me and Cosmo signing off.